together rather than single individuals. I called the Globe and Mail and the Toronto Star, offered them up the photo, told them the photo I had. They said, no, we're going to go with the wires. Meanwhile, my photo was better than the wire photos. So if the major mainstream newspapers are cutting corners by not wanting to pay $150 and $200 for a unique photo, which sums the story up basically, how cheap are they going on the text?
Did you offer it at the Westmount Examiner?
I offered it earlier, but their deadline is different. But so here what we have is we have sort of like we're talking about loss of intellect. Here we got sort of Walmart intellect in our media, and this is the way it's going, and this is the way it's going to keep going, in my opinion. Is that they're going to go to cheaper route, and individual thought, which tries to come into a newspaper, which is a freelance journalist, is being rebutted because of cost cutting. So what you're reading is not as informative or as expanded as it could be.
In New York City, if you compare the New York Post versus the New York Times, fine, the headlines might be sleazy in the New York Post, and maybe a sleazier picture. But if you read the text, it was exactly the same as the New York Times. I think that reporters just take too much off of news releases word for word, and it's exactly the same.
Who's iconic and who can be trusted and whose opinion are you going to look up to? And just thinking of, say, Jon Stewart versus Walter Cronkite. And Cronkite sort of somehow or other gave that sort of harsh, like he was like the prudential mount came on before his run, and it was always this truth, this with a big capital T. Whereas the thing which I think always shocked me was that I realized that people were telling me that people were actually getting their news from Jon Stewart. I mean, I didn't mind them getting their reaction to the news, getting their take on the news, but they were actually using Stewart to get the news. And why? And it seemed to me because he doesn't have that sense that there is this big T truth. He's dubious of everything. He's suspicious that there's underplays and undercurrents, and he's always looking for those and pulling at them and teasing them out. And that's why I think people trust him, because he actually has that kind of sensitivity, which I think a lot of the young people sort of have, that we have been led down the garden path, and we're in the problems we are because we've trusted too many of these icons. And I want someone whose eye will always got this slightly ironic edge.